Welcome in again, everybody, to another episode of the Level Playing Field podcast. And today we're talking about the NFL. Halftime shows, coaches firing, and the season keeps getting longer and longer and longer and longer. And here we are. So what goes along with that? Probably more injuries. So Dennis, tell me where we're starting.
I would tell you, Andrew, thinking that we have the great American pastime, right? This baseball and football are the two top ones, right? And you got basketball, hockey, auto racing, soccer. I mean, what a great mix. But, the Spanish people rule and dominate soccer. That's just been in the Americas. In North and South America, when you mention soccer, you just know, man, those Spanish men and women in South America they're just eating up the field. So now we're getting we're getting this Spanish ban forced on the great American pastime, the NFL, American football, right? So it's so controversial that they would put somebody like Bad Bunny at a halftime show that Charlie Kirk's group, a beautiful group, are even in protest, and they're doing their own halftime show, Andrew, and to contest the halftime show of Bad Bunny, who only sings in Spanish. He doesn't sing in English, right? So all of the fans who have developed the NFL and have supported the NFL for the 60 years that 60, 70 years that it's been in existence, they're just totally disregarding and disrespecting all of those men and women. Even my wife, she don't want to watch the Super Bowl this year. You know what I'm saying to you? But it has nothing to do with disliking the Spanish singer. If you look at the appearance of the athletes, Andrew, anymore, right? It used to be back in the day, the guys couldn't have nothing sticking out of their helmets, right? Mm-hmm. So they'd have to have their hair cut, no gold, no jewelry, none of that stuff. The tattoos, the same, they had to be covered up. You want to have tattoos, that's your choice, but you got to wear a long sleeve shirt. You understand? And they're just blatant use of marijuana and drugs that they're not even hardly being tested. And if they do get caught on steroids or on marijuana or something, they get a $15,000. To the average American, that's a lot of money. To these guys, their salaries have gone off the roof. Do you understand? $15,000 is a joke to them. So they can smoke dope, they can do their steroids and their drugs, right? And if they get caught, it's a little simple $15,000 fine. And then the cherry on top, the guys are so fat. They're so obese. If you look at them, 1 in 10 linemen, there's 1,500, 2,000 players in the NFL. Half of them are linemen, right? Because there's 10 positions. Mm-hmm. If you look at the half of them, 90% of them are totally obese, that they're lazy. They don't run downfield to make blocks. They don't run downfield to make tackles or recover a fumble last minute. It's totally disgusting. And the men and women of America, this should be the cherry on top, honestly, to make us watch what we're watching, all right? And then the cherry on top is put a Spanish band, a Spanish speaking band, who I'm hearing he might wear a dress, and it suits where the game's being played in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. It's like we got these two great teams. I watched them. Well, where's it? San Francisco. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the guy's talking about wearing a dress of some sort. So what just to totally assault us. But Andrew, on top of that, I watched the games a little bit, right? So in the beginning of the game, so they're promoting all the wrong things. And in the beginning of the game, there's an ad, right? These playoff games, there's an ad, $5, bet $5 and get $150 free so on a Sunday. So people are sitting around with their kids, right? They're watching these freaks. They look like freaks, the large majority of them, right? So you're watching it. You're watching these big obese guys, right? And then you say to yourself, "What am I watching? Oh, now they want to hook my sons or my daughters or my parents who are sitting there naively saying, 'Oh, $5 gets me $150, and everyone has those garbage phones, right? Everyone has those garbage phones, and they're in there. And so on a Sunday afternoon, they're doing that. So one of them scores, Andrew. One of them scores, right? So I'm watching. Okay, I don't watch football. I'm sick of them. I'm totally disgusted with the guys. I just watch it because of this show. So you're watching it, and at halftime, not at halftime, when they score, they kick the extra point. And you look up, it says Bet MGM. Bet MGM, right? So it used to say John 3:16, right? That was the big thing when you saw a field goal being kicked or an extra point being kicked. There'd be a sign up, John 3:16, right? So, what has happened to the NFL, Andrew? It's just gone berserk. It's almost as bad as the National Chaotic Athletic Association.
Yeah. No, hey guys, I really hope you're enjoying the show. Do me a favor real quick. Look down. Are you guys subscribed? Because it really helps us out. We want to just keep bringing the best content we can to you guys every single week. All right, let's get back to the show. The NFL is calculated in every single thing that they do. And what it comes down to is, as far as the halftime show is concerned, how I heard it said somewhere perfectly. It's the fact that if you're in the group that feels like you're like, I'm not going to watch the halftime show. I'm not interested in it. I'm just going to turn it off for 15 minutes and I'll turn it back on when the game starts again. If you're in that group, they don't care. They don't care about you because they know that you are going to be there for 17 weeks, 18 weeks next year. You're going to watch the whole playoffs. You're going to do everything. They already got you. They got you so hooked that there's nothing that they can do that you're going to like turn off the NFL on a Sunday. And if they're, by having Bad Bunny and having a Spanish-speaking performer out there, they open themselves up to such a larger percentage of global viewership, and that's what the NFL is trying to do. They're trying to go global. They're having games in Portugal, in Spain, in Germany, in Brazil, and that's their MO. And bottom line is, they don't care about you because they see more dollar signs coming in from an international audience than from 15 minutes, 20 minutes where a chunk of America turns it off. And that's a shame because that's their home base. And they're alienating a good portion of America, but they don't care because there's a bigger portion that's going to be more tuned in than who's going to tune out. So, but that also goes into that exact thing, right? That exact line of thinking where it's like, we don't care about who got us here. We care about the next step, getting to the highest level, making more money, having more eyeballs on our product. That ties in perfectly to the coaching searches that are going on this year. 10 coaches. There's 32 teams in the NFL. 10 of them got fired this year. So that's a third of the league is starting from scratch. And
three of them, and three of them, Andrew, just for the record, Baltimore.
I know who you're going to say. Baltimore, the Steelers, and Buffalo. They don't deserve to be fired. It's a rush to judgment, and it's the whole point. It's the same point of like, we live in this world where like, all right, we said this right before we started recording. Buffalo, they were terrible before Sean McDermott got there. Sean McDermott brought that culture from the Eagles. He worked under Jim Johnson, defensive coordinator, legend. He brought that culture there. Buffalo, now what? They're competing every single year for the playoffs. Do you think that's just happenstance? The Ravens, John Harbaugh's been there. I don't even know how long he's been there. 20 years. Fired because a rookie kicker missed a kick that would have sent you to the playoffs. So you're telling me 20-year tenure
and won a Super Bowl for him.
And won a Super Bowl for him.
They hadn't won a Super Bowl. They hadn't won a Super Bowl since Goose and Ray Lewis had the number one defense ever in the history of the league.
Yeah. So you're telling me that one rookie kicker misses a kick, you're going to hinge a 20-year tenure on that, okay? And then third, Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin just delivering extreme consistency. And
but Andrew, with Tomlin, we'll get to McDermott, but with Tomlin, remember this. Remember, the Pittsburgh Steelers have totally taken the personnel out of his hands. Yeah. So who's drafting those quarterbacks? They haven't. they drafted this dork from the University of Pittsburgh. What the heck was his name? He didn't even he opted out in the bowl game. What was his
Kenny
name?
Pickett.
Pickett. Look, they were trying to make up for not drafting Dan Marino. This Pickett dork, he broke all of Dan Marino's records, and they were making a big deal about it. But he broke the records playing against Youngstown State and playing 4 seasons against nobodies and 13 and 14 game seasons. You understand? So the Steelers picked him. It wasn't Tomlin that picked him. It was the organization that picked him. So he hasn't had the chance to get a quarterback since they lost Big Ben, But what I would tell you is to fire him and him not have the ability to choose his own players is just it's like a joke.
He technically stepped down. He stepped down, which means he had a conversation with the owners, and they're like, "Listen, go take a break." That's what happened. And I give Pittsburgh a lot of credit because like the stat that's rolling around is they've had 3 coaches since 1968: Chuck Noll, Coward, and then Tomlin. So I mean, as far as like an organization, a well-run organization goes, I got to give it to Pittsburgh. Like they are the model of consistency. So I'll give it to them in that. But there's it's crazy.
Listen, I wouldn't give them anything, but looking at the firing of these coaches and McDermott, he's from Quakertown, Pennsylvania. He used to lift and work out with me at Eskimo's Den, right? Great guy. And what he done up in Buffalo, and everybody loved the guy up there. So getting back to who's making the decisions, Andrew, and it goes into these long seasons. Now all of a sudden, the guys are playing 21 potential games, right? Mm-hmm. If you go back to when the Super Bowl started, they were playing 10 games, 12 games, right? Now they're almost playing twice as many games, Andrew. And if you look, and that's one thing I noticed when I was listening to the announcers, that all the main players are hurt. The quarterback from Denver's out. The running back's out. This guy's out. That guy's out. Well, what do you expect putting them through 21 games in a season, right? So who's making those decisions? The same idiots that are firing guys like Harbaugh, guys like Tomlin, guys like McDermott. Great human beings, hardworking guys, straight guys. You understand? Even the Falcons had a guy that was up and coming. But anyway. But anyway, it's really coming down to you got people that never played football making decisions to hire Bad Bunny at halftime rather than some great American musician, in country, in Christian, in rock and roll, in jazz, all the great music that we have in America. They're going to hire some foreigner. And people are going to go, whoa, what is that? And it's hats off to Charlie Kirk's group. My wife and I, we're going to watch that. We're not even going to watch the game. We're going to definitely watch Charlie Kirk and his group get together and honor America and honor Christianity, not honor a foreign country or a foreign group. And you hit it right on the nose, Andrew. That's their goal. They don't care about us. They don't care about the Americans who played the game and were part of the game and have built this great tradition that they're making boatloads of money off of now. All they care about are new markets. So let's look to get all the Spanish people to come on board, and so we can hook them on gambling, so we can hook them on our garbage ads that we run about homosexuality and alcohol and drugs. Come on, let's hook another group. So all this, and I hope anybody who's Spanish listens to me and hears me, man. Look, there's some great. Look at this quarterback we had this year. What a star! And there's plenty. The quarterback at Vanderbilt. There's plenty of guys in the past that have been Spanish,
doing it the
different
right way.
Different ethnic groups. They're coming in. Yeah, just look, come in and be part of this great American pastime. Don't try to change the game. And that's where the NFL is off the wall. They're not as bad as the NCAA, but they're right there. Changing the schedule, Andrew, a couple of things. So changing the schedule that they're playing 21, they got to go back to playing maybe 15 or 16 games, and then just 2 or 3 playoff games. Do you understand? It's ridiculous. The guys are getting injured. They don't care about the athletes, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is on the rule changes, right? I mean, all of you are looking at this kickoff.
The kickoff's too much. Joke. The kickoff's too much.
Who has a kickoff where you stand there and you wait? Man, the whole thing about being on a football team was the clash. That it was like a Warriors clash. To be the center. Look, when I was at the University of Pittsburgh my freshman year, I was the wedge breaker. Man, I was honored to be the wedge breaker on the kickoff team. That means I stood right aside of the kicker, and I'd run straight down the field. And I'd be the guy that dove into those 6 or 7 guys or broke those 6 or 7 guys up. That was like, and down at Texas A&M, they had they had the 12th man, right? The guys were on the kickoff team. So kickoffs are awesome. Yeah. So you got to go back to the regular kickoff. Only an idiot would change the kickoffs, right?
Too much.
And then Andrew, on the extra points, right? On the extra points, keep it on the 3-yard line because then you got the element of surprise. If a team goes for 2, like when I watched the end of the Eagles and the Buffalo Bills, everybody knew they were going to go for 2. I mean, the quarterback blew that when he threw it into the ground. But anyway, I mean that's excitement. That's the game of football. So you don't know. Maybe they're going to fake it. Maybe they're going to kick. And for most of the field goal kickers, kicking a 15-yard field goal compared to kicking a 25, it's not. It's the same thing. It's really nothing. So those types of rule changes, Andrew, that need to go back to it. Let me tell you the other rule change that ties need to be ties. Because what else is happening when you're looking at the 17 games and then 4 more games, Andrew? I mean, these guys it's war. You see, these dorks that never played football, they never had their head bashed and had a concussion. They never had a knee or back or elbow or hand injuries. Do you understand? And all of a turf toe, a little stupid turf toe is like torture.
Turf toe is terrible.
It's torture. So what else they need to stop is if a game ends in a tie. If a game ends in a tie, it's a tie. Do you understand? Because if you add on all of the overtimes that these guys are playing in over a 17-game season, they're playing another 2 or 3 games. So in essence, they're playing 23 or 24 games. And that goes for the college guys. The college football guys, the same. They got to stop the overtime. These rule changes with this overtime garbage is got to stop because the impact that it's having on these athletes, especially in football and in wrestling and in all sports. Look, in college, the kids are there to get an education. When they go into overtime and play and wrestle another 2 minutes or 3 minutes, it's sick. You can't believe the energy that gets sucked out of a wrestler or the energy that gets sucked out of a football player and a basketball player and a hockey, all of them. So look, overtimes end in ties. That's it. No more overtimes. And that rule change needs to go across the board in the NFL and on all through the NCAA because those kids are there to get an education, Andrew. So but here's those are the same people that are making the decision to fire these 3 great coaches, right, in the NFL. And these are the same people making the decision to play 21 games, extending the season, and changing the rules on overtime. Look, no more overtime, right? Get back to the regular kickoffs, and a 2-point conversions are 2-point conversions. And for God's sake, let them play football. Let a guy hit a guy. I mean, you watch them. I don't even want to watch it. It's like watching flag football. Some of it. You know, a guy hits another guy. It's a nice hit, nice tackle, and they're throwing a 15-yard penalty for a guy tackling a guy, hitting them with some impact. You understand? So when you have when you have guys like this commissioner and these different people running the NFL, it makes you wonder why they're hiring a Spanish Bad Bunny to sing in a Super Bowl, and that really, you know, that really needs to change. And the only way to change it, Andrew has this saying. Andrew, tell them about your eyes. Tell them about the eyes.
We've said it before. It's that if you want to really if you want to really make change, you don't do it by anything else than your attention, what you give your attention to. If your eyes are on the TV, then they're making money. They can see that you're participating in whatever they're selling, and then they can sell more advertising for it. So if you want to take your piece of the pie and say, I'm not interested in this, turn your TV off. And I think we've said this before, but I was listening to a podcast, I forget who it was now, but they were basically saying that these massive corporations, you don't have to make their profits dip by 50% to make them change. If they see a 5% dip in anything across the board, they're changing, because that's their job, is to make money. A corporation's job is to make money. It's not to help you. It's not to give you a good product. It is to make money at the end of the day, and they are responsible to their stakeholders. And when they don't make money, they get fired. All of them, across the board. It doesn't matter what CEO you are, what level of C-suite. If your division isn't making money or is trending downward, they fire you and they replace you with someone else, because it's more cutthroat than any sports league or anything in the world. So yeah, that's it. If you want to make real change, turn it off. All right, guys, let's take a second to talk about our friends over at Summit Web Search. The internet is a big place, and if you're running a business, just being online anymore isn't enough. You have to stand out from your competition. That's where the team at Summit Web Search comes in. They help businesses with digital marketing, web design, graphic design, but what really separates them is how they prepare companies for where things are going. With AI coming in and changing the way people search for information online, you have to stay ahead of the curve. Instead of guessing and chasing trends, Summit Web Search focuses on what makes your business show up where it actually matters, in front of the people that are going to spend money with you. You need to chase those people down who are already online looking for your product. Because in a world where visibility is everything, that's what being online is all about. It's being positioned to win day in and day out and get your clients the products that they want. So if you're ready to stop guessing and start getting found, check out Summit Web Search and let them help you level the playing field. All right, let's get back to the show. Take your eyeballs and put them somewhere else.
And here, Andrew, my wife and I, Andrew, man, we're going to watch Charlie Kirk at halftime. We're not even going to watch none of the game, not 1 second of it. I haven't watched – the last time I watched the Super Bowl was when the Cincinnati Bengals played in it against the Rams. They had that Joe from LSU, right? And my brother's buddies coached them, and I was real proud of that kid. And I watched him play against the Rams because the kid from Pitt was a real good player, Donalds. He's from Penn Hills. We had influence on him. As a defensive lineman, one of our guys taught him in high school. So I watched because I was interested in it. I haven't watched the Super Bowl since, and I'm not going to watch one because what Andrew's talking about. You just have to protest their pathetic decisions and behavior and where they're leaning, and where they're leaning. And they agitate the out of me when they say, oh, the NFL players are, they have these men of the year. Right, I'm gonna close this out with the man of the year. So they got the fan of the year, like the idiot of the year, right? So and the man of the year is great. I'm all for it, and something good for the community and good for the guys. But this fan of the year is almost a comedy, right? Mm-hmm. So each club, each NFL club picks a fan of the year. So it's like, who's the biggest idiot? Who spends the most money? Who does all of the stupid things that they say to do? Who jumps and screams and yells the way they want you to? You become the fan of the year, right? You spend thousands of dollars and go to the game, so you're the fan of the year now. This is another ploy by the NFL to try to get these poor souls that watch these games to make more of a fool of themselves. Look. They don't care about us, especially the old time All-American football people. They don't care about us. Andrew's made it real clear, and by their actions, they don't care. They basically have demolished the game. They've thrown the game in the garbage. So what I would tell you all, not just this year, that for the years to come, until the NFL gets back to basics, right? And they get back to the real rules of professional football. Who are they? Who are they? Who are these dorks? These guys that never played football before to change the structure and the history of the great sport of football, Andrew. Mm-hmm. So because of that, I really, really strongly pray and ask that you all don't stop watching, especially the stop watching football for now until they get their acts together and really, really follow the traditions and the history of the game and get back to the basic rules and get back to the 15 game, maybe 16 game schedule, because all of the great players, Dan Marino and all of the great running backs and all the records are being abolished and ruined by this longer season and the overtimes. Remember, the overtime. So my read on it is, like Andrew had said, stop watching. And if you stop watching, well, then guess what? Then they'll start listening because they'll see their ratings go down and they'll see people not going to the games. And then they'll say, oh, by the way, maybe we need to go back to what worked for us. Yep. Andrew.
No, that's it. That is it. And we said this before on other podcasts. Like you can have the same amount of games, have more teams. You want to expand the league, do it that way. Create more opportunities for businesses and players and more opportunities for people to be around the game. That's what it's all about. I'm all for it. I'm all for more football. I'm just for more people playing. Again, another great conversation about a topic that, like we said, we didn't even talk about what's going on the field. There's so much going on in the business side and behind, outside the lines in these sports conversations that we could talk about this all day long. It's a never-ending conversation. So until next time, thanks everyone for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment and be a part of the conversation yourself. And until then, until next time, have a great day.